I'm still not seeing what I believe I need to see to believe this team can be a World Series winning team.
For a team that doesn't have a lot, and you hear that from a lot of different people, or maybe don't have enough, it's moving in the right direction. I mean, listen, I hear you to an extent, and we'll get to the base running gaffes and some of the empty at-bats. Yanks are 2 wins away from the World Series. And, listen, the Central, I don't count it as over yet. You got to get those 2, and you never know within a series. So I don't want to be too presumptuous here, but it's not our fault that the Central is a little inferior. Nobody felt bad for the Yankees all those years when the Red Sox had 3 or 4, guys who would be in the Hall of Fame if they weren't so juiced up, proven on steroids. And the 2 best teams in baseball, were basically knocking each other out. I mean, sometimes it is a cyclical, circumstantial thing. I think the Yankees have a lot, whether it's the bullpen, and hopefully, now Judge has awoken. Glaber looks really good. Some other stuff as well. But, hey, I mean, I don't know what to say. For a team that doesn't have this and that, Yanks are sitting pretty good.
Right, but it's false. Like you said yesterday, you think the Yankees are going to win the World Series.
I do.
Based on what?
Based on the fact that they are advancing, based on the fact that, I'll give you a little favorable matchup, which means they're getting to the World Series.
Well,
so even if the conversation becomes, and I know that you're not trying to go here now, but I'll bring it here for a second. Even if the conversation is, well, the Dodgers are better than the Yankees on paper, and the Mets are better than the Yankees on paper, and also the fact that the Mets beat them 4 times over the summer.
Whatever, yeah.
I mean, they did beat them. I don't want to, omit that fact. The other fact is that one of those 2 teams ain't moving on.
Right.
So it's not like they got to beat both the Dodgers and the Mets.
Right, but then why?
I mean, so it's one team you're going to have to beat once you get past the Guardians.
But what makes you think that the way the Yankees, based on the way the Yankees have played, not only the majority of the season, like, say, from June on, look at the postseason. Now, there are 2 ways to look at it. One, you could say, well, the Yankees are winning despite playing less than their best baseball.
Which is the way that I choose to look at it, which gives me, and confidence.
Right, and then the other way is to say, well, why would I believe that, like, it's been since June through the first 6 games now in October, and they still have not been able to put together a great game. And the way that they're winning is because the other teams that they're playing, and this is not their fault, like you said, you can only play who you play, but clearly the other teams are inferior. So why would I believe that all of a sudden, if in fact the Yankees do finish off Cleveland and get themselves to the World Series, that they're going to flip a switch and all of a sudden play better? Because they will not win a World Series playing like this. Certain elements are good, yes.
Okay.
But they will not beat the Dodgers or the Mets playing like this. So I'm just curious why you have that confidence that it'll change.
Well, the word inferior is interesting to me because the starting pitcher that the Guardians trotted out last night is one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's good. And the Yankees said take a shower after 5 hits and 2 innings.
When he was walking to the dugout after what he leave in the second inning, was there stains on his pants from wetting himself?
I mean, there
for
may
the
have
sight
been.
of the Yankees. I mean, the AL Central. Yeah, all we heard about was the Guardians being able to play good defense and dropping pop-ups like Luis Castillo. I mean, what is going on here? But again, that's not the Yankees'
But I'm going to give you a direct answer. Yeah. So the answer to, and the question was, what gives you the confidence that this will get better to eventually have to beat a team like the Dodgers or the Mets? My answer is this. Number one, I think last night's a jump-off point for Judge, and I do think that that's got to happen. I mean, I could say it, but until it happens, it doesn't happen. I believe last night's the start of Aaron Judge and his, whether it's Reggie or whomever, Yankee run, Yankee moment. I think Judge is ready to start stamping a legacy. And I really have avoided the legacy stuff with Judge because it's kind of tired. It's kind of cliche. And by the way, the previous game, he faced 4 different pitchers and 4 different at-bats. I don't think Reggie or anybody else, Mickey Mantle, had to do that. So there's always context here, and he hasn't been very good. I think Judge is going to start mashing, and I really do think that the elements of some of the poor play during the regular season, Stanton, and I know that I've been on Stanton, all year, but Stanton was hurt for a long chunk, and so was Anthony Rizzo. Right now, those are basically, along with Torres, their 2 best hitters, and Soto. So those guys are back. I think it's added depth to the lineup, and I just think when you factor in the bullpen, when you factor in enough defense, whether it's left field, whether it's, up the middle, shortstop, even behind the dish with Wells. Glaber's been fine at second, Rizzo fine at first. I think they'll catch it well enough. I think the bullpen's amazing, and I think their best players will eventually rise enough to get them to and win the World Series.
Yeah.
Now, winning the World Series, that's a different, the confidence I have to get to the World Series is sky high. Book it. Yanks are going.
Well, I mean, I hope so. They're 2 wins away from a team that...
No, but I was saying this even going in, and I was saying this after
I
game 1. I didn't need
Series.
2 games to set. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people were saying, well, look at the path. The Astros are out. There's really nobody in the American League. Well, once the Orioles go out too, at least the Orioles had a threat because of their offense. But you look at these lineups, the lineups are pathetic. But again, I'm not even using that as the argument because the Yankees, you can't fault the Yankees for playing teams that aren't very good.
No way.
But when you watch the Yankees, they should be better. How many times do we got to see the same first inning? They get the first two guys on, and they don't deliver. They can't score runs. If you do that against a better team like the Mets or the Dodgers, they will get beat. Garrett Cole, 2 of his 3 starts in the postseason.
He was not good last night.
Okay, but
Garrett Cole was not good.
But it's not just about last night, and I love Garrett Cole, but 2 of his 3 starts in the postseason haven't been good enough. Rodon, inconsistent. Like, if Holmes and Weaver don't give up runs, I know Weaver got touched up, but a meaningless home run against, Ramirez finally gets it going with nobody on, and the game is basically over at that point. Good for him. But Weaver and Holmes, if they don't give up runs in big spots, the Yankees will not be beat. Is that going to continue? Who the hell knows? Austin Wells can't buy a hit behind Judge. And I'll give you Judge, no, I was never really overly concerned about Judge. He does have to prove himself in the postseason. That's something he hasn't done before. But the Yankees had Soto and Judge in the regular season playing at a high level, and yet they were 2 games under 500 from June, the middle of June on. So I don't think that that's the answer either. There's just something about the Yankees and the way that they play. It's not perfect. Boone acknowledged that. It's not clean and crisp. It's not they're better than this. They can be better than what they've shown so far, but they're winning. And I think you could be fooled because they're winning, thinking that it's going to continue or get better. And when the opponents step up in class, and it will, one way or another in the World Series, I think the Yankees could be in for a rude awakening.
But I think it's too late to be fooled. I mean, when you're 2 wins away from the World Series, I don't think anybody's getting fooled. I think that there's definitely what the Yankees have presented has been less than maybe what we associate with championship caliber. I definitely give you that. I do. I mean, I just start with the Yankees dynasties. And, those teams were deeper. They had more star power. They were more consistent. Listen, I think it's a very imperfect situation, which is part of the reason why I feel good about this, because the teams that they are still battling, at least in the American, the team is even less perfect than the Yankees. Right. Listen, Sal, we sat here.
But the World Series is different.
Well, it could be. Not necessarily. I mean, it could be.
But those 2 teams, the Dodgers and the Mets, are light years better than the Royals and the Guardians.
I think the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers' talent is, and I think the Mets are.
Mets have the best record in baseball since June.
I understand what they have. Do I think that the Mets have a star-studded lineup? The answer is no. But if you do, I don't know what to tell you. They don't. Now they win.
You don't think the Mets lineup is significantly better than the Royals or Guardians?
No, but I don't think it's
significantly.
But that's not what you said.
Yeah.
You said that it's star-studded. The Dodgers lineup is star-studded.
I didn't say star-studded. I said significantly better. Both those teams are light years ahead of the Guardians and Royals.
Even if I give you that, which I probably will, I'll probably meet you a little bit there. What does that mean for the Yankees?
The opponent's going to be much tougher.
If we're sitting here in November, what is it, November 2, last day of the World Series? Let's say we have a 7-game series, and on November 2nd, November 3rd, whatever it is, we come in, and the Yankees, now if they beat the Mets, it's a totally different atmosphere, but if they beat if they beat somebody, and they don't play great, like they go through this. Again, I'm with you. All right, beating some teams that, all right, whatever.
Right.
Get to the Dodgers, maybe 2 games, or the Mets, 2 games, they get smoked. Maybe 1 game they win because the other team's bullpen implodes. They don't really flex. But they get to the World Series and they win, right? Does it matter?
No.
Okay.
But we're not talking about if they win. We're talking about why you think they will win.
Well, I think that they'll win because they're the best team in the American League, and they're going to be the last team standing in the American League. There'll be 1 of 2 teams still standing, and I'll take my chances with that. Right. Because, by the way, what the Mets, and I don't want to make this anti-Mets, I really don't, but what the Mets...
forget even that it's the Mets.
But I can't, because those are the 2 teams waiting.
Yeah, but I'm saying, if it weren't the team in this town, forget the rivalry for a second. If you just looked at whatever the team name was, but it wasn't from New York, and saying, well, this has been the best team in baseball since June, and look at what they've done in the postseason, that would be an opponent that you should be fearing. It's the Mets.
No, fear's the wrong word. Because now
based on the way the Yankees have played and the way that the Mets have played, fear, I think, would be the appropriate word.
It wouldn't be my word. It would be, all right, it's going to be tough. It would be respect, there's no doubt.
Right.
But you got to understand, and again, it's a 4-game sample, right? And what the Mets have done, it's been amazing. Nobody's taking that away from them. But people lean on, you've referenced it, and I would too if it was flipped for it, the Subway Series. Who led off for the Yankees in that series?
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Is his name Tyrone? I forgot his name. It could have been Tyrod Taylor, the Jets backup. Who batted 4th? J.D. Davis. Totally different team.
So
I put 0 in that.
I don't think the Mets are better than the Yankees because they beat them head-to-head. head-to-head, I think the Mets are better than the Yankees because of the large sample size, what we've seen. They've played better baseball, but it's not even about them. The Dodgers and Mets, the National League in general, if this were the Phillies, I'd be saying the same thing, but I think the Mets are better than the Phillies. So it's not a Met-Yankee thing. It's the Yankees haven't played great baseball thing.
Yeah.
And the competition, assuming that they do finish off the Guardians, which I think it's a safe assumption for everybody. I'm not ready to go there yet because I still don't believe the Yankees have played the caliber of baseball that would warrant a World Series team. The best thing you could say about the Yankees is the same thing everybody's been saying all year long. Nobody else is that good anyway. In the World Series, that's going to change. So the only thing that I was questioning is not them getting to the World Series, not that they can't turn it up.
Can they win playing this way?
Well, you were so confident yesterday saying that they're going to win the World Series, right? And then again, they had another game where it was like, good, and some good signs.
Oh, yeah, no, and definitely some things that make me say, you got to play better. But I did say this the other day as well. See, it's a very interesting dynamic with and I get it because they're a victim of their own success, aura, history, whatever, which is amazing. But, it's a little tired of that. You got to win again here. And for some reason, again, I do understand it, I guess. When the Yankees win and it looks less than perfect, we nitpick. And that's fine. And I got it. I also know this. Yanks are up 2-0. Yanks are going to the World Series. And whether it's your team or the Dodgers, I'll feel good about it. That's it.
Right. And I'd just like to know, again, based on what? BT and Sal.
But I just told you. Based on the bullpen, based on Judge taking off, based on... I literally told you 6 minutes ago.
He hit one home run, taking off. And by the way, even if he was...
So you don't think the best player in the game is capable of going on a 3-week binge where he looks like Aaron Judge in July?
100% I do.
All right.
But I also saw the best player in the game with the second best player in the game go on an incredible tear, and yet that same team was 2 games under 500 from June on.
But what is baseball? You see, this is...
No, I'll give you the bullpen.
What's Jose Ramirez had 39 doubles, 39 doubles, 39 home runs, 41 steals. He was basically almost the first player to go 40, 40, 40. What's he done this series? Nothing, except the meaningless home run. So
it's been 2 games.
I understand that, but if we're going to fixate on Judge, now part of Judge's path is what's happened in the past
I'm not fixating on Judge.
You're not. So I know you're not. You haven't. I'm going to be fair with that. A lot of people have. But baseball ain't easy. And as long as you win, like if the Yankees would trot out 3, 4, 5 leaky arms in the pen that I knew just couldn't hold down leads, I'd say, man, I'm terrified. But they got, you can tell me about the Astros bullpen and this bullpen. And that. I think the Yankees have the bullpen. I don't care what the numbers say. Everybody they trot out is up to the job. So that is the main reason.
I think that's the best answer.
The other answer is Soto and Judge.
Yeah, fair.
There we go.
And the bullpen, when it faces a real lineup, might be a little different. And we'll see in a World Series one way or another, because it will be, regardless of who it is, it's going to be a step up in competition. BT and Sal on the Fan, our friends at Town Fair Tire, remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Eli is in the Bronx. What's up, Eli?
Hey, man.
What's going on, Sal? I just want to, you asked me a question. Well, based on what do I think the Yankees will win the World Series? Well, first of all, you're making like the Guardians are a bunch of scrubs. We just faced basically essentially a bullpen game against the best bullpen in baseball, and we still won. Number 2, Luke Weaver looks freaking like Mariano out there. And their bullpen is absolutely locked down. Gleyber Torres is playing great. Giancarlo Stanton is locked in right now. Volpe's playing great. Judge is about to go on a tear. And, give me the Mets all day, baby. I'm ready.
Okay. Good luck. Be careful what you wish for. I mean, again, I just like I'd like some factual, like the Yankees haven't, I'm confused as to why some people just can't acknowledge that the Yankees have not played great baseball. Matter of fact, I cannot wait to talk to Susan because at least she's rational. The first thing she said last night to Alex Verdugo post-game was, wow, you guys keep winning despite not even playing your best yet. Now, that doesn't mean that the Yankees can't get to another level. They could. They have the horses, but they're not. Garrett Cole. So we're just going to minimize what Garrett Cole did yesterday against a lineup that is as pathetic of an American League lineup in the championship series that I may have ever seen.
Well, listen, Susan, and we're going to have Rod, as you said, 10-4. It's going to be great. Looking forward to that. I didn't hear her ask Verdugo that. I did hear parts of the game. I didn't hear. That's a fair question. Now, I don't know the answer. I'm kind of asking out loud. Maybe there are other teams. Are there other teams in baseball whose players would be asked that question after a win when they're up 2-0? The place is. I'm not saying it's a bad question or that it's out of bounds or off base. My point is the standard is a little different, and that's fine. The standard should be different for the Yankees. But are you telling me if the Mets were up 2-0 on the Dodgers, Rad or Howie's? That's the first question.
No, but
hey, can you guys keep winning if you don't play great ball? No, it's more celebratory, and that's fine.
I think we're missing the point here. And it was celebratory with Susan, and it wasn't a question. She was just basically acknowledging that you guys keep winning without even playing your best.
What did he say, by the way? What was his response?
I don't remember his answer to that exactly. But either way, and it was a fine interview. But my point is that the Yankees are not playing their best baseball. They're now, 2 more wins away from the World Series. At some point, when the competition steps up, like the reason why they're able to win without playing their best at this point of the season is because the teams that they are playing aren't good enough. When they go to the World Series, we're going to find out. If now maybe the Yankees step it up another notch or two.
Yep.
That will be a big difference. But if they don't, can they beat a better team like the Dodgers or the Mets?
And I think that they can.
To me, I don't.
I think, and I got you. We just keep moving the goalposts. Right. I mean, because it was early on, it was, Houston's dead. Oh, my God, Houston's, look, they're back from the dead. Watch out, Yankees. Here comes the old.
We're not moving the goalposts.
No. Follow me, though. Yeah. Here comes the Astros back from the grave. Better watch out. It doesn't work out, right? The Orioles, even going back to that April series, a lot of people, they look different, more dynamic, better, faster, ready to, bury the Yankees. Orioles are home, and so's Houston. So,
why were you running from the World Series of bust expectations then when I said it in April?
Well, because I didn't know what they had.
World Series of
No. I said I got to see what they have.
Okay. Well, now,
Sal, but think about this. To be fair, now that to me, you said you used the word rational with Susan. To me, that was a rational response. Number one, the Yankees haven't won since 2009,
right.
so to blindly say. And it's one thing to predict, which mean nothing, or have like a reason, reason to feel emboldened enough to think that you can do it. Now, I thought that Giancarlo Stanton was shot. I thought he was absolutely cooked. I didn't know that Austin Wells, he's an ice cold funk here, but I didn't know that he was going to be this influential on the season. I didn't know that they would get Jazz Chisholm, who really has done nothing the last month, but was pretty good, when they first got him. I didn't know. I didn't know where Verdugo was necessarily. I didn't know, if Rizzo was absolutely fried. I'm not a big Labor Torres fan. So when you ask, even though he's playing great, when you ask me that stuff, my reaction then fit how I felt. My reaction now fits how I feel. I think the Yankees are getting to the World Series, and I believe that they will win it.
BT and Sal on the Fan. We do have some breaking news here, BT. Andrew Thomas had surgery this morning, out for the year.
That sucks.
Right, Hoff? I gave it all there?
Yes, Liz Frank surgery.
The Liz Frank. That's a tough one. We talked about that very briefly yesterday.
Yeah. We'll get more into that a little bit later. And then as the week goes on tomorrow and Friday, we'll talk more about it's a huge game.
2 years in a row now. Remember, he hurt his hamstring against Dallas week 1. He missed a ton. So he's one of the best tackles in football. Feel terribly for the young man. He got paid. But he has not proven to be able to play seasons. He gets hurt a lot.
And he's the one guy that they cannot lose. Like, we thought
stinks.
Neighbors was that piece. Yeah. They could overcome being without Neighbors. Thomas is the one guy you would think that is going to potentially derail the Giants season. All right.